Executing My Exodus with your host, Ashley D.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to episode 7 of Executing My Exodus with your host, which is myself, Ashley D. I already know you are looking at this video and wondering why I am airing this episode on an off night, but it's all gonna make sense. Just give me a little time. I'll tell you the backstory. But I just want to welcome you to episode 7 of Executing My Exodus with myself. So before I even get started, I want to start off by saying thank you for every text message, phone call, comment, like, love, share towards myself and my brother. We both receive our master degrees on this month on May the 5th of this month. I received my Master of Divinity degree from Regent University with a concentration in church and ministry. And my brother received his Master of Science degree in accounting from Liberty University. So we both graduated the same day. It was such an eventful day, in my opinion, but we had such an awesome time and a blessed time on that day. I literally, once I finished walking across the stage, I immediately took off my robe and I was like, I gotta gas up and get on the road and make it to my brother's graduation. My graduation was 9 a.m. His graduation was 2 p.m. and I had to drive 3.5 hours to get to my brother's graduation, but it was all worth it. So I want to say again, thank you so much for your love and your support. I know a few of you may be a little mad at me and him for not telling you that we were graduating. I know for me, I had a few reasons. Number one reason was I was unsure if I was going to graduate on time. Just saying, a lot has happened during this semester. The second reason why was my graduation was very early, 9 a.m. in the morning. I don't know if anybody would have come out there early. And then the third reason was I was so excited about my brother graduating that I pushed mine to the back burner. And I know you may all say, well, Ashley, this is a major accomplishment. It is, but this is my second master's. This is my brother's first master's. And it was his first time walking across the stage since he graduated from high school. So not to tell my brother age, but he graduated back in 1999. So it was just very huge for me to go and see my brother walk across the stage to get his Master of Science degree in accounting. So again, I want to say thank you so much for your love and support towards us. We're very excited to have accomplished these achievements. I'm completely done for now, but my brother is pursuing his doctorate in accounting. So I want all of you to lift him up in your prayers. It's very challenging for him, and I'm quite sure it is. I'm not about that life, but he got it. 3 degrees is enough for me right now. I may go back at a later time. I don't know who's gonna pay for it, but we're gonna trust God for it, if I decide to do that. So again, thank you so much for your love and support towards us. The second thing I want to talk about, I want to say thank you for your patience with me in this season, at least the past month or so. You all know I took the month of March off as a break because I just had a lot going on. I was under the weather for a while, but I came back strong last month. And then coming into May, trying to finish classes, trying to get things done in order to graduate, took up a lot of my time. So which means it decreased the time of preparation for my webcast, but now it is completely over. I am able to get back and focus back here with you all. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to rest, reflect, and restore. I'm still in the process of doing that in this season. So I thank you so much for your time and your patience with me with this new ministry project, which goes into me talking about now that I've graduated. And I made the post maybe about a little bit over a week ago about me and my brother graduating. And I said specifically at the end, I'm gonna have something for you next week. Now, for all of you who have been following me, you all know I have like a whole book full of topics and subjects that I eventually want to talk about on this platform. However, one thing that I have really done with this ministry project is really trusted God on and asked for his direction on the next topic that I should talk about. I wait for those spiritual downloads. I wait for those confirmations. I wait for those signs that he gives me. And most of the time, it's just moments where he just reveals something to me, and it's a spiritual download, and I have to grab my book and I have to write down everything that he's giving me in that moment. He's revealing different things to me. And so after resting, after graduating and pushing to get my last assignments in and everything, I rested for a whole week after that. And actually for a good maybe week or two before I just came into this week. And I was just like, Lord, what is it that you want me to talk about in this next episode? And I was just waiting. And if you really want me to be honest, he gave me nothing. Like, he didn't give me anything. And for the first time in my life, I was okay with that. I know I was texting my best friend, catching up. We both be booked and busy all the time. And I was texting my best friend, Alexis Brown, who you all met last month with Rest, Reflect, and Restoration. And, we're catching up. And I told her, I said, well, now, Alexis, I'm done with school. Now I'm really gonna, sit and meditate and, just be in the presence of God on where he wants to direct me with this webcast ministry, because I want to stay in alignment with his will while I'm doing this ministry project. And I said, because she always constantly asks me, what's your next topic? If anybody has been on this journey with me, she has. And she said, so what are we talking about next? And I said, the Lord hasn't revealed anything to me yet. And I said, I'm okay with that. And that's pretty big for me, who I'm always in a place of leadership. I'm always organizing things, always implementing things. I'm a legit administrator. That's what I do. And so for me to actually say to her, it's okay. I'm sure he'll reveal something to me. And when he does, it'll come. And I was just completely content with waiting on him. And that hasn't always been my story. And so she immediately was like, Ashley, I'm proud of you, because she knows how I am. And in the midst of texting her all of these things, the Lord revealed to me the anxiety of waiting, which speaks volumes, because when we're in the waiting process, we tend to experience quite a bit of anxiety. And I know I have. I'm quite sure many of you have as well. At some point in your life, you've had a lot of anxiety. So I want to speak on that tonight, if you allow me to. The anxiety of waiting. So you all know I like to break things down. So let's define anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. It's the desire to do something, typically accompanied by unease, an emotion characterized by feelings of tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes. So that's the definition of anxiety. So let's talk about waiting. The definition of waiting is the action of staying where one is or delaying action until a particular time or until something else happens. Remain in readiness for some purpose, used to indicate that one is eagerly impatient to do something or for something to happen. So the anxiety of waiting. So that means you have a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something that's being delayed. The action of staying where one is or delaying action until a particular time or till something else happens. So how do we apply this to our lives? Let's talk about how this applies to us. So there may be things that we desire or want to transpire in our lives that may require us to patiently wait on God for. So let's break it down to some specific things. Some of us want love, marriage, a family, a better job, a better car. Some of us want to buy a house, be a new homeowner. Some of us want to pay our debts off. Listen, and even access the finer things in life. So those are some of the things that, we desire for, that we actually want, that we want God to give us, but we have to patiently wait for it. So like if we move it or look at it from the spiritual aspect, or more so from the ministry aspect, I'm quite sure that pastors and ministry leaders can attest that there may be moments where they may be looking for, or they may have a direction that they want to take their church or their ministry to, but they're waiting for God to give that direction so they can be in alignment with what He has strategically designed for their church and for their ministry in that particular season. So because they know if they make a move outside of, His will, or outside of the, just a straight path of where He wants them to be, it could be detrimental to their church or their ministry. So even now, let's talk about me. I was in a place where I was unsure what I was going to talk about in the next episode. So there may be times, you're simply trying to prepare a sermon and you're trying to hear from God where you want, what you want me to talk about. And the Lord may not have dropped it in your spirit just yet. So, and you want to make sure that the sermon or the lesson you're giving is fit for that season, is fit for that particular crowd that you're speaking to. So now some will argue and say that you should always be working on accomplishing your goals and the things that you desire for in your life and in your ministry. And I totally agree. Hands down, I believe that you should develop a strategic plan with small benchmarks on how you should get to those goals, everything like that. I totally agree, because that's what I do with my life. There are some things that I am currently working on, and I have a whole legit plan. Like I try to stay within that plan. I also try to give myself some grace if not every benchmark goal is met or anything like that. As long as I'm staying in alignment with the plan and with the will of God, I'm okay. I'm content. So, and I understand faith without works is dead. Sometimes we want some things in life to transpire and to happen. So it requires action. So you must put your works behind the faith that you have. But what I want to talk about tonight is, what if you have done all of that and God hasn't moved or responded? Like, what happens when you've done that and nothing, your goal hasn't been accomplished, nothing has happened yet? Like, it seems like you're still at a standstill with your life. And at some point you begin to ask and question God and say, okay, Lord, I've done this, I've done that, and I'm doing everything according to plan. Why haven't you moved yet? Why haven't you given me direction or a spiritual download on how you want me to move? Like, why am I stuck in this one place? So all of these questions begin to circle in your mind, and eventually it creates, before you know it, you have anxiety. You begin to wake up. I don't know about y'all. You begin to wake up, go through your entire day, and even go to bed with those same questions, those same thoughts. And you're wondering, like, God, what happened? Why aren't you moving? Why aren't you opening that door to the things that I want in my life? To a place where you begin to play everything in your mind. Like, what could I have done differently? Did I do something wrong? And it just begins, you begin to feel all these emotions, uneasiness. You begin to feel like you're stuck and God isn't listening. He's not listening to you. You begin to you just begin to feel so much anxiety deep down inside. And so what do when you feel that way? Do you stand still? Or do you make a decision for yourself? Now, some of us are hard-headed. Hard-headed, okay? Some of us are hard-headed to the point that we'll take it upon ourselves and begin to make decisions and moves on our own because we want something so badly and we don't want to wait on the Lord. Like, so if God don't move fast enough, or he doesn't answer your prayers or your petition that you put before him, you begin to take the wheel. Now, mind you, we always praying, Lord, I need you to take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. But you're willing to take the wheel and start to steer yourself into places that he may not even want you to go. So out of just the anxiety, just not being able to have control over what happens, you know, how things should be done, how things should move in order for you to get to your goal. So I just want to say and encourage you tonight, because I don't want to be in front of you long. I just want to say to you all that in the midst of anxiety, like, don't allow that anxiety to overtake you, to overpower you. There's purpose in the wait. And in the process of preparing for this, there's so many things that he revealed to me about how important the wait is, but I want to talk about that in a few episodes, in the next episode or two later. But I just want to just pinpoint the fact of anxiety. Sometimes we are just like overwhelmed deep down in our spirits because things aren't working or moving as fast as we would like them to. So it's okay to say, you know, if God doesn't move or he doesn't give you revelation or clarity about a particular situation, it's okay to stand still. It's okay to say, okay, Lord, you haven't moved, you haven't spoken, you haven't said anything, so I'm just going to wait on you. So if I could just encourage you on tonight, just briefly, I just want to let you know, don't allow the temporary anxiety that you feel to overpower the purpose of the wait. Anxiety, fear, and worry are all weapons and distractions of Satan to keep us from experiencing the full and abundant life that God has for us. David said in Psalms 94:19, when anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. So you know what that means? Replace your anxiety with the joy of the Lord, for he is your strength. So again, do not allow the temporary anxiety that you feel overpower the purpose of the wait. Another thing that I want to say to you is, if you haven't received an answer from God, it is okay to stay still and continue to wait on his direction. If you have made your petition if you have made your petition known before God and have consistently done your part in the process, leave the rest to him. Stop trying to take it into your hands and say, well, Sister Lord not responding, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do because I want to make it to this goal. I want to make it to this accomplishment. I want to make it to this achievement. It's okay to wait. Philippians 4:6 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So if he doesn't answer right away, have patience and allow him to answer. Allow him to reveal to you what he would have you to do. I promise you, it will, if you just wait a little longer, I promise you, he will reveal to you what you need to know and the steps you need to make. And just because there is a delay in his response, it doesn't mean he has denied your request and petition. There's purpose in your wait. So just because he doesn't speak immediately, just because he doesn't reveal to you what you're seeking answers for, it doesn't mean that he has denied your request. There could be a reason and a purpose of why he hasn't responded. So be okay, be content with the fact that he hasn't responded yet, and just wait on him. Learn how to be content with where you are and who he is. God is not a man that he shall lie. So if he has shown himself mighty in your life, as he has always done in our lives time and time again, lean into that and know that he would give you the desires of your heart. So do not allow anxiety to overwhelm you during the wait. If I can tell you anything tonight, do not allow anxiety to overwhelm you during the wait. Instead, trust God to be who he is. Trust him to cover you, to carry you, to give you direction, to open those doors, those specific doors. You know, sometimes we compare our lives to everyone else's. And because we have some of the same goals as everyone else. And so you're like, okay, well, they did all this. I did the exact same thing they did. So why isn't God like opening this door for me? Why is he not making ways for me like he made ways for them? There could be a very valid reason to that. And I'm trying not to go into that because I actually want to say that for my next episode. There's purpose in the wait. But as of right now, if you're in the process of waiting on the Lord for direction and for guidance, do not allow anxiety to consume you. Be content with the wait. So like, you know, I don't have a problem talking about myself. So I'm going to talk about myself. Listen, I have been what some people would consider a boss in my world, where I'm not going to say I'm crazy, but, you know, a little bit. Okay. So I'm considered a boss in my world, and I don't necessarily have to have control over everything. But if I am in a place of leadership or control, I make sure that I issue and I implement and I execute effectively and efficiently, because that's who I am. That's what I do. I take pride in my work. Even with this webcast, there were times, well, I'm not even gonna say there were times, but there were, brief moments. I was in a place where I was preparing, and I knew I needed to prepare and get all my notes done by a certain time because I wanted to study, I wanted to be ready, and I needed to put out an episode every 2 weeks, because sometimes, unfortunately, some of us have started, you know, certain projects and certain things in our lives, and, you know, we want to make sure we are consistent. Sometimes we fall off. We don't continue on with something that we started. Unfortunately, we have a habit of doing that. We allow life to happen, and then we end up putting stuff off to the side, and it happens. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. We've all been down that road. So for me with this ministry project, it was always, I have to produce something every 2 weeks. I have to give them something new. I have to keep them engaged. I have to, and most of the time that is very true. But what I learned is, what if God didn't reveal anything to you to give to the people? I don't ever want to be in that place where I have to pull something. Now, mind you, I have like a whole book full of topics, sub questions, everything that I want to talk about. But I really depend on God to give me direction throughout this whole process of this ministry project. So I never want to be out of alignment with that. I never want to do that. And so my best friend saying to me, I'm proud of you, because any other time I would be like, okay, so I missed putting out an episode in the first 2 weeks, so I have to put something out immediately because I want to keep people engaged. But I was legit like okay with the fact of saying to her, Alexis, I haven't heard anything. He hasn't given me anything. And I'm okay with that. I'm sure he would give me something to give to the people at some point, and literally in the midst of conversation. And I don't know, I love my best friend. My best friend, she's really awesome. It's just when we talk things out, the Lord just start giving us downloads. She's my accountability partner. If nobody else is, she is. And she holds me accountable. She pushes me forward. And I do the same for her. And it just seemed like the Lord began to drop. And sometimes if it's not dropped in my spirit directly, she was like, well, Ashley, you talked about this. What about this? And it just automatically sparked something. And then next thing you know, the Lord is giving me a spiritual download. So I'm learning and what I'm trying to get at, some of us who are in leadership positions, it's okay to say that he didn't give me anything yet. He didn't reveal anything to me yet in order to speak, in order to say, in order to give to someone else. It's okay. And I know for some of you all, I'm an Aries woman. I don't know if you all are into the whole zodiac sign thing, but if Aries, they're very strong-minded people. They're organizers. We have those traits. So for somebody like me to actually be humble and say, listen, it's okay. I'm going to wait on the Lord on this. I'm not going to move out of alignment. I'm not going to push for something just to give something to the people. I know he's going to eventually reveal something to me. And that's exactly what happened. Literally, he gave this to me the other day. And now I'm just recording. And now I'm just giving this to you in the middle of the week. It's not a typical Friday like I normally would. And I'm perfectly okay with that. You know why? Because the Lord gave it to me. And I decided to wait. And I didn't allow anxiety and the feeling like I need to be in control to consume me. Instead, I'm allowing him to lead me throughout the entire process. And I'm perfectly okay with that. He's been leading me this far. Like, listen, where can I go wrong at this point? So I just want to encourage you. It's okay to wait. It's okay to wait on him. And do not allow anxiety to consume you, to overpower you. Wait on the Lord. Psalm 27:14 says, wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he will strengthen thy heart. And then again, he said, wait, I say on the Lord. So you had to be told twice to wait on him. So listen, wait on him. He's going to come through. And I even know through personal experience, I always have a testimony. There were some things that I really desired for and wanted in my life that I literally ignored all signs, all red flags and everything in my life because I wanted these things so badly. And to the point where the Lord allowed something abrupt to come into my life to grab my attention, for me to say, okay, Lord, if I never heard you before, I hear you now. And from that moment on, and from that experience on, I have literally waited on God to give me direction. I have. And he hasn't steered me wrong yet. And what he has taught me from that moment on was, I have something better for you. If you just wait and trust me in the process. Just trust me. I got you. There's purpose in the wait. That's going to be next episode. There's purpose in the wait. But in the meantime, don't allow the uneasiness, the worry, the anxiety to consume you. Like, have peace knowing that I have your life in my hands and I am going to cover you. I'm going to carry you. I'm going to protect you, and I'm going to give you exactly what you need. So again, don't allow anxiety to overwhelm you. Don't let it do it. Like, don't allow the temporary anxiety that you feel to overpower the purpose of the wait. That's the first thing. If you haven't received an answer from God, it is okay to stay still and continue to wait on his direction. And just because there is a delay in his response, it doesn't mean he has denied your request or your petition, because there's purpose in your wait. Lean into who he is and who he has always been to you. And he has always shown himself mighty and trustworthy and faithful, awesome and amazing God. He has shown himself to be good and awesome in our lives. So tonight, I just want to encourage you and say, do not allow the anxiety of the wait to consume you, but just wait on him patiently. And I promise you, he'll give you the desires of your heart. Again, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I know this was random, but I waited on the Lord to give me direction, to give you something. And I hope you received it in the spirit that I have given it to you. Again, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for the love and support that you have always consistently given me. This is new for me, and I walk in this with you. Just know these words I'm giving to you applies to me as well. So listen, we're doing this together. We are executing our exodus. So we are no longer in bondage, but we are better representatives of him, and we're walking in freedom. Again, I want to say thank you so much. I love you so much, and I hope to see you very soon, because we're going to talk about the purpose of the wait. God bless you.